Hey guys, welcome to my podcast, Kizalations with Kayla Garcia. So, I'm gonna just make it a quick intro on just why I wanted to start a podcast. So, basically, I've always wanted to do one, but I just never felt like it wasn't ever the right time for me. But now in my life, I'm in a happy place, and I truly feel that I have healed as a person. Not fully, but healed and become a better person than who I was a couple months ago and a year ago. And I want to be able to share my experiences and share my advice on how I got through everything in my life. And also, the first episode, as you can see, is an audio. I just wanted to try an audio first, but I'm also going to do where you can see me physically talking and sometimes audio as well. So, moving on to our first topic for my podcast is toxic relationships. Oh god, this is a big one. I really want to make this episode not too long because it is my first episode. But if it happens to be long, then I'm gonna just leave it because this is a very touchy subject and a very heartbreaking subject for many people, including me. So, I'm going to share my experience on my relationship and talk to you about my relationship first. So, I was in a toxic relationship for almost 2 years, and it was very, very hard to accept the fact that it was a toxic relationship because I loved this person so much and they loved me. But looking back on everything that we went through, I would never put myself in that position ever again. And I wish I never did, but also you live and learn. And I see it as a blessing in disguise because it truly did show me what I really do value in a relationship and what I don't appreciate in a relationship. So I'm just going to kind of give you a brief story on my toxic relationship. It was with a girl, and you might be thinking, girl, how am I going to relate to this if you was with a girl? But trust, I believe everyone can relate in some way because it's not about who I was with. It was about how that person made me feel and affected me. So, in those 2 years of dating, almost of those 2 years of dating, we were on and off, and she just wasn't able to come out because of her parents. And I understood that. And also, she just wasn't comfortable yet. And I'm a very understanding person, so I would never pressure her to make a decision to come out. But also, I didn't realize how it would affect me further on. But a side note, my parents know that I am out and that I am bisexual. And I know not all parents accept that, and I understand that. And another fact, we were also each other's first love. So having to go through all this and going through all that took a huge toll on me. Having to be hidden for so long because we couldn't even tell our friends. It was just between us. And when our friends would see us together, it was like, oh, that's my best friend. It wasn't anything more. So it just became very hard for me mentally because it made me question if I was even good enough for her and maybe that she doesn't want to come out because I'm not the one she wants to come out with. But having those thoughts made me feel so guilty because she would reassure me that she would love to come out with me and she just couldn't. So it just made me feel guilty for feeling that way and how I felt about that situation. But it also just fucked with me very bad to the point where I couldn't get out of bed and I would just wait all day for her to text me. I would not like to hang out with my friends. I just basically isolated myself from everything besides her because all I really wanted was her attention and to physically be able to hang out with her and not meet up at places because her parents couldn't know. And it was just more frustrating to me because her parents liked me very much and they knew that I was her quote-unquote friend. And we could have hung out multiple times if she just would have asked. But she just never asked because she was afraid. And I felt very confused and upset about it, because it was like, if your parents don't know, then why can't you hang out with me, you know? So it just really, like I said, it just really mentally fucked with me. But she would just end up telling me that she loves me so much and that she just doesn't want her parents to suspect a thing. But like I said, they knew we were quote unquote friends, and they didn't suspect anything. But this went on for a while, until a couple months and then a year, and basically the whole relationship. I just felt like the whole relationship, I was basically begging someone to see me. But yet, she would also reassure me if she would come out, she would. And I just loved her so much that it didn't matter to me at the time as much as it mattered to me us being together. All I really wanted was us to be together, but we really weren't together, if that makes sense. It was like we would FaceTime when we could, we would call when we could, and I would just be happy about that, but that was below the bare minimum. The whole relationship, I got below the bare minimum. And I'm a very independent person, and when I just got with that person, I felt like I lost all my independence, and I relied everything on her and she relied everything on me. Like, if she was upset at me or she felt some type of way, then my whole day would be ruined, and all I would think about was her and how I messed up and how I need to fix it and everything. And it was just like that on and on and on. And just felt like all I was doing was making these mistakes. And it just felt like at some point, what was even a point of having a relationship? So I would leave many times during the relationship and come back. That's why that was also a very toxic thing, and that hurt her a lot. I'm not going to say that didn't hurt her too, because we both did things to each other that affected us both tremendously. But it's not an excuse. I left many times because personally I felt like I wasn't anything in the relationship, that I was just someone, and then I would just leave, and then I would just miss her so much because I felt like no one would love me the way that she loved me, and nobody would understand the way that she understood me. And then it went to the point to where we were just getting back together on and off every 2 weeks, and we would fight over stupid little things. And we just both lost trust in each other during the relationship, but we loved each other so much that we were both willing to rebuild that trust. But I had a realization of, I don't think we could rebuild the trust because so much damage had been done. And yes, I forgive, but I don't forget. And so I just couldn't forget everything that she had done to me. And so it just caused many fights, and same thing for her. So, like I said, I had the realization of nothing is going to change. She's still not going to come out. She would tell me that she would change and we could come out to our friends and that we would hang out more, but it was just too late. I waited almost 2 years for her to now decide to change, and it was just too late for me. And it really hurt me bad, because why change now when I'm ready to let go now? And now she's in a relationship and she's come out with them to their friends and they hang out and everything. So after I heard about that, the outcome, like, it really just hurt me and made me feel like I was back in square one and questioning my worth again, and questioning, like, was I even worth coming out with her? Like, did she feel like I was worth coming out with her, if that makes sense? And like, why wasn't I that person if you told me you loved me so much? So I was just questioning everything. And I know y'all might be thinking, how can I relate to a gay couple that can't come out? And I don't know. You might relate and might not. But the point of telling my story is to tell you how it was so toxic because, yeah, I loved the person so much more than I loved myself. And my mood would depend on her, and there would just be times where she couldn't understand that I don't want to talk about something right now. And she would pressure it out of me and cry, thinking it was about her. So I did many things that overstepped my boundaries and made me uncomfortable. But I did it just for her because I loved her so much, and I didn't want her to think that it was about her. And I would tell her it wasn't about her, but she would pressure out of me even when I didn't feel comfortable speaking about whatever was bothering me. In the relationship, I didn't take care of myself mentally and physically because I was worried about how she was mentally and physically, and I would put her first. We both weren't in good places in our lives at the time, so it made it harder to let go and have the realization that they aren't the only person that loves me. What I learned from being in a toxic relationship is to value yourself and respect yourself and love yourself enough to create boundaries and realize what you value in a relationship and don't value in a relationship. I read a quote the other day that said, "Loving someone shouldn't cost your peace." And oh my fucking, woo! It is so true. Loving someone should be easy and safe, and being able to communicate and both trust and respect each other, not the other way around where you are worried they're going to cheat on you or you feel like you are walking on eggshells talking to them because they're going to react away. When you see those red flags, don't stay. I'm telling you, as soon as you see them, leave, because they are showing for a reason. When someone truly shows you how they are, respect and love yourself enough to leave and know what you deserve. You are the only person who would truly value yourself. No one else can value you more than you. And if you don't value yourself and love yourself, then you definitely shouldn't be in a relationship. Because I did love myself and value myself before I was in the relationship. But when I got into the relationship later on, I felt like I hated myself and I wasn't pretty enough and that I wasn't a good person and etc. But that's not the case. It's the fact that I wasn't being loved the way I deserved to be loved. And it felt like I was more losing myself with her and me helping her feel better about herself instead of it going both ways. So I know how difficult it is to leave a toxic relationship, especially if you feel like they are the one, or that you can change them, or that they are just going through a hard time. But if they are bringing you more bad than good in your life, you need to make that decision for yourself that it's time to leave and choose you. Choose you always. Choose what is better for you mentally and physically. And being in a relationship should add more happiness into your life, not sadness. It shouldn't be the only thing giving you happiness in your life either. And if you are confused and are like, I don't know if I'm in a toxic relationship, get out a pen and paper and write the pros and cons. I know you might be thinking, what is this girl fucking talking about? Taking out a list. But trust. Get out a pen and paper and write the pros and cons. And if the cons overweigh the pros, then you know what you need to do for yourself. But it's not going to be easy, and I know it's easier said than done. It definitely wasn't easy for me, but always surround yourself with good people, loving people who will look out for you and help you through these rough times, because you are going to need it more than ever. Trust me, y'all, it is not the end of the world if you end the relationship. I promise you, time and better habits will make you feel so much better in your life and make you forget the person. And it's okay to have those times where you miss the feeling of it, but it's not okay to go back. let yourself feel those happy moments and those sad moments. Cry it out, laugh it out, do whatever you need to do, but don't go back to them because you're just going to go back to square one. And trust me, it's not worth it. But that is the end of my first episode. Hey, first episode, y'all. I don't know how long this was, but I really do hope y'all stayed to the end, and I really do hope that it helped y'all. But always remember, y'all are loved, y'all are beautiful people, and it's okay to hurt for a while and cry and be angry and feel all these emotions. We are all human. But I love y'all. Let me know what y'all want to see the next episode. See y'all next episode.